Hi again, let's make some salmon chowder. Today this recipe I got I think from All Recipes, but I can't remember. But I am changing some of the things, so you know how I am. I use what I have versus running out and getting the exact ingredients. Anyways, so let's just talk through what I'm using and I'll try to tell you the amounts that I used. So this is just some chicken stock that I noticed that I had like extra of from some other project, and I was like, "Oh crap, I should use that and before it goes bad." So the recipe that I used called for 2 cups. So I think this is exactly 2 cups, so that works out. Then the recipe called for using carrots and corn, but I had this bag of mixed vegetables. I think I got it at Dollar Tree. It has green beans in it, but it's okay. It has corn and carrots, so that's what I'm using versus cutting up carrots and all that. All right, then I used, I think, 3 shorter stalks of celery, this can of evaporated milk. I think you can use half and half. No, whipping cream. I don't know. You can use some kind of milk product. This is a can of that. Then it called for 2 cups of potatoes, and you can see these potatoes. These potatoes are messed up, and I'll explain further what I mean. Potatoes are not like normal potatoes that you used to get. I don't know what's up with our produce lately, but then I used half a pound of sharp cheddar and an onion, salt. The recipe I saw called for 2 cans of pink salmon, but I only had 1, and so I supplemented with canned chicken. Then dill weed, I think it called for a teaspoon of dill weed, and it called for garlic powder, but I had minced garlic, so I used a tablespoon. I forget what the recipe called for. And then a teaspoon of pepper, which I always add more pepper than recipes call for, but and then butter. 3 tablespoons of butter. So that's what I used to make the chowder. I know it sounds like there's not a lot of liquid in it, but because we're cooking in a solar oven, all of these things cook down and the liquid comes off it, and there's plenty of liquid. So you don't need to add any more. All right, so you know me, I like to saute my vegetables first. Onion, celery. I didn't have it in the last picture, but I used a little red jalapeno. I cut that up just to add color and a little bit of heat. And also a tablespoon of that minced garlic. So that is sauteing away. While that's sauteing, I mixed my other ingredients together and grated the cheese on top. All right, so this is everything all together. I also added 2 tomatoes that I don't know, I was just kind of digging through my produce and I noticed that I had 2 tomatoes that were not bad, but they were getting a little soft. So I was like, well, let's get rid of those. So I stuck those in as well. All right, so you've seen this picture before if you watched my salmon cake video, but I took the salmon cakes out and put my chowder in, and I let this sucker cook for 4 hours. And the reason is because if you watched when I made Indian chicken, I cut potatoes up, and this is what I'm saying. These potatoes are messed up. Like, they are a few weeks old, and they're still like hard as a brick. I mean, they're like crunchy. Even though they've been cooking, when I was making the Indian dish, I allowed that to cook for 3 hours, and the texture of the potatoes was like they hadn't even been cooked at all. So something's up with the potatoes. So anyways, this is what it looked like after 4 hours. Everything's cooked nicely, but the potatoes were still crunchy. So I had to cheat because, it's gross to have crunchy potatoes in a hot soup. That's just not acceptable. So I got my pressure cooker out and I pressurized everything. I pressurized it for 10 minutes just to get the potatoes to be somewhat soft. And So after that was done, what happened is once I pressurized it, you can see that the liquid, let me see if it can tell. Like from this, you can see it's nice and milky, but after pressurizing it, I guess the lactose separated from and it looks like a broth soup now versus a chowder. I mean, it tastes really, really good. So I don't know what to tell you. If you got these janky potatoes to deal with, I guess maybe cook them first and then add your other ingredients. Otherwise, if you have normal potatoes, everything should come out. After 4 hours of cooking, it should be fine. So, I don't know. How about these potatoes? No, just kidding. Okay, anyways. All right, so I forgot to tell you in the last video that I was going to tell you about what to do when the sun starts to get lower in the sky. So I added this picture back in. If you can see, there are blue and red snaps on every corner of the oven. And right now you can see that the red snaps are snapped. That's because the red ones are the summer setting and the blue ones are the fall winter setting. So the next video I make, I'm probably going to have the blue snap snapped, which you can see it raises up the back of the oven and then it lowers the front of the oven because the sun isn't going to be lower in the sky. So that way you can capture the majority of the sun's rays that way. So Mr. Haines, who designed this oven, I mean, he thought about all these things. It's such a really well designed product. And you can see it's, I've been using it, if you've been following my videos or whatever, I've been using it a lot, but you can see it's all crinkled and everything, but it still works great. It's just the sun is getting lower in the sky. So next video, I'm probably going to have it at the lower setting, and I'll let you know how that goes. So thank you for watching. And even though I still had to cheat to make this, like, it really is a really good recipe. It's very hearty. It's one of those soups that you don't have to eat a lot because there's so much protein in it that you get full, and it's a good one to make, especially if you don't have a lot of room in your refrigerator, but you want to make a lot of food at once. This is a good one to make. So thank you for watching. Have a good day.